Yes, we are live right now. So this is the first time I've done this in a while. Live. Like go live because I just want to get it done. Around with editing. I may be lazy, but I'm doing it right now, right? I got the light set up, I got the background. That's the first. This first time, so bear with me as I play cast. Let's see here. This is live, so you're more than welcome to ask questions. Alright, so I got the to the Mystic Mindcast on the podcast, and then the Optimistic M. I'm still thinking of a name for this video channel as I've had it for a while. The only thing I haven't really integrated in the channel is photography related. So welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, I do appreciate any supporters. Let's see. I'm gonna be looking at my computer because I want to make sure this is running. My internet is it's right now. It looks like it's good. If I do stream on my computer, most of the it tells me like if it's green, if it's yellow, if it's shitty. Let's see. How do I tell if it's good if I don't know? Go to my channel. Let's see. Yep, I'm running. We're live. Okay. I'm gonna keep this to kind of monitor it in the background. Okay. All right. So here, tonight I want to talk about the Dope Squad shoot event we had about, well, actually over a week and a half ago. And I have a list here of just kind of things I want to go down. So I think it's important to at least have a plan. So when I originally did this, I actually originally did it as a podcast, and actually literally driving back from the event, and that traffic, actually traffic wasn't that bad. It was more so the drive was about an hour, so I figured, hey, my podcast lasts about an hour, no problem, right? Except just random stuff would happen. Like there was this guy on the side of the road, stuff like that. But anyways, I don't want to bore you with that. So I decided to redo it and have a little bit more structure as far as the way I'm doing it. So that's why I call it the Redux or the redo, some people call it. So let's get started. So first of all, the event was a charity. There actually was this one. It didn't have a name actually. It didn't have a name, and you can actually look it up on YouTube. You look for Maui Kao. He has a YouTube channel, so look for that. You can find the events there. Or Brett Silly, a photographer. I believe he's from Cali, if I'm not mistaken. I thought he was from Colorado at first, but they're from Cali. Anyways, look up those two names. I will also at a later time to kind of, for people that are coming in when it's pre-recorded, obviously, so they have places to go to. So anyways, this particular group shoot event, Dope Squad Hawaii Part 2, was basically a charity to it's helping, I don't know the guy personally, but to help a friend with therapy. And so we raised, I believe it's like over $1,200, something like that, overall, which is great. And just some facts and figures, models. We had a makeup there. There was a few brands there. All were there, to collab, to create some models, and get their name out there, as well as networking. It was the biggest group shoot I've ever done. Normally, I don't do big group shoots because I've already made a podcast about this. But normally, there's a going on, and I feel like sometimes there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people shooting the same thing for this particular shoot, and I am gonna like put down some like pros and cons, or like list like pros and cons of things that I got out of it. But for this particular, I mean, it was pretty well organized. I do want to thank Jon Jon. He was pretty much like setting up the coordination of it, and I think Maui Kao was also like, he was also helping out as well. He also, yeah. So I'll actually talk about all that stuff as I go down this list. But as far, I'm gonna try to, for the podcast, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to just go through and just make segments out of it. Otherwise, I'll just be doing it like throughout the live cast. I don't really want to like put people through that. So I see one person's on there. Welcome. By the way, welcome. If I didn't say my name, because I know I didn't, I am Misho. Misho as in like, let me show you how to say my name. And let's continue. So basically, again, it was a charity to help out Kai, and for chemotherapy. I don't know personally the guy, but that's what it was for, and I think that was pretty cool that Jon Jon set up. Actually, about 2 months prior, I believe I heard about it, or there was an inkling of like, hey, we might do another event. I was like, I saw the first one, and bro, I want to be a part of that. I mean, everybody had fun. It was like the content that came out of it was pretty dope. I was like, I want to be a part of the next one. And like I said, at the time there was no name. Now, there's an establishment. Now, something more. And that was exactly what I wanted to be a part of, the something more. So, summary of events I have on the list here. Keeping organized. I want to keep on a schedule here. I don't want to go not to. So, summary of events. Basically, various things would happen throughout the day. We were shooting with models, obviously. I shot with about 11 models. And stuff. Hawaii. And there was another one, I can't think of the name. I didn't shoot with or for them, so I'm not really sure. Notifications, okay, never mind. It's kind of cool having two like devices. I have my new phone and I have my other device here that's catching my podcast, so it's pretty cool. So there were actually both Jon Jon and Maui Kao were heading up different things, different workshops throughout. I know Maui Kao was heading up. There was posing, that was very helpful, and there was off-camera lighting later on in the day. Video. Okay, I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. So it's doing this thing. It's buffering. It's buffering, right? I want to make sure it's up and running. My internet sometimes it's annoying, to say the least. Okay, we're back. I just wanted to make sure. That's the thing about being live, is anything can happen. By the way, one time I was watching Twitch live. That was one of the persons I followed, and there was an earthquake, and I was like, holy shit. Like, that's happening, and it just went blank. Like, I heard the sirens in the background, and it just went blank. Like, it was crazy. But she was okay. She was okay. We found out later that they lost power and everything, but it was nuts. Like, everything started shaking. Like, yeah, so live, anything can happen. Other things that took place throughout, obviously I was shooting with models. I gotta be honest, I was a bit overwhelmed. And the reason why I say that is because typically I'm an introverted person. Now there are times where I can be extroverted when I need to be, and I know one of these days, that day in particular, I needed to be, which actually put me as an introvert, which is like I can be a bit of both, but I'm mostly typically introvert. But everyone has a little bit of both. It's not just, oh well, you're just introverted, unless you just don't talk to anybody. Everybody has a little bit of something that I've learned. So introvert is like both, a little bit of both. Mostly introvert, but I can be an extrovert. I figured, but I was overwhelmed. I was like, man, there's like, especially in the morning, we all showed up. A lot of people. I think there was like 15 photographers that showed up, and I was like, I'm trying to remember all these names. I'm like, and then the models. There was plenty of them. Like, wow, like what do we do? I feel like it was great. Actually, it's better to have more than less. I've been on photo shoots or group shoots in general that just had like so many photographers and like maybe one or two models, and it was just like, those are the ones I don't like. I feel like we're shooting the same thing basically, unless you like you have like, you know, maybe 5 minutes. Like, hey, give me 5 minutes. You know, take. If there's one model and there's like 10 photographers standing around, I actually heard of a group shoot that went down like that. I wasn't there, but a couple of notifications. But I heard of a group shoot and there was like 10 photographers, like one or two models showed up, and it was like basically they're shooting the same thing at a different angle. It's just like, what's the point? I don't like that. So I try to avoid those things, but this one in particular was pretty dope, as the name suggests. Dope Squad 2. Remember that. So anyways, at the beginning I was like, man, what do I do? I didn't really come with a concept in mind. I just knew I wanted to shoot something. And there were actually a few people, well, a lot more than a few people that came with concepts in mind, which I do highly suggest if you're going to one of these things. I didn't come fully unprepared. I did know what I wanted to shoot. I wanted to shoot swimwear, obviously, because we're on the beach. I wanted to shoot fashion, to shoot concept thing that was just like out of the ordinary, and whatever came to mind, and whatever. There was a few people, man. They did some pretty cool stuff, and like I said, I don't names is like, I know a lot of like Instagrams, and I could probably look it up, but I will have you do the work because I'm like, there's a lot of people to remember. I'm like, jeez, but yeah, it was wild. So I'm like sitting here like, man, I know what I want to do, but everybody's running around and just went at it. Like, and I'm like, oh, like, okay. And finally, I got my bearings. I started walking around, just kind of wandering, because I think it's easy to get lost and then be overwhelmed and then like feel like, damn, you know, everybody's doing something. What's the point, you know? And I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to do something, so I just walked around for a bit, and finally, you know, if you have like somebody you're going with. Originally, I was going with one of my fellow friends and photographers, Darren, and we actually met up, but he had to leave. So for about 2 or 3 hours, which was fine. I shot a lot of stuff in that time, you know, by myself with a few models, and it turned out great. Oops. So I don't want to move this around too much. I got my background right here. So I think one suggestion, like I said, would be if you have a partner. But be creative, because model 2 people, which is a good ratio. Actually, that was about the ratio when I got there. There was like 1 model for every 2 photographer, sometimes one, which is a good ratio. Because if you have a friend, you can kind of like go back and forth. It's like, hey, shoot a little bit, 5 minutes here and there, and I'll shoot 5 minutes here and there, or you can both shoot at the same time if you really want to. If the model is new, let's. But something, just some ideas, to throw out there. I'm not saying like you have to be like that. You have to do that. Just keep in mind that everybody is not on the same level. Especially, I mean, not all photographers are on the same level. Not all models are on the same level. Just keep that in mind when you're going to shoot at big group shoots. I think that was it for the summary of events. I will go like over what I personally did as I go down this list. Goals, and I know I have this question later on at the end. What did I get out of it? What did I get from this? This light's kind of bright, to be honest. It's like really bright. Oh shit! There we go. Okay. This camera's pretty good. Low light. I'm not advertising, so I'm not going to tell you what camera it is. But if you are curious, it is a Galaxy S10. It's the last one, apparently, with the curved screen. So, yeah. Anyway, goals of mine. I pretty much told you one of the goals already. I want to shoot fashion, swimwear, and anything conceptual. So one of the conceptions that I actually did photograph or capture was with Maui Kao, and he shot with the model name. Actually, I won't even say the name. There's a reason for that. So the concept was dope, and he actually redid it. I don't know if he redid it or did it beforehand, but it was like the glitter, sparkles, like on the breasts and the chest area and the face. It was pretty cool. So we shot with a model, and that was actually one of his workshops. It was like the off-camera work. I believe it was off-camera workshop, off-camera flash workshop. Except I decided not to use off-camera flash because I thought natural light was pretty good. But each to his own. Good workshop, by the way. He's a really good teacher. He is a really good teacher, especially when it comes to posing. So I benefit the most from posing. But anyways, that particular shoot, we shot it. So I can't, or really, probably not a great idea for me to show those photos, and I don't have them done for good reason, because the model is very, very sensitive when it comes to photos. So I decided, for now, I'm not going to touch them. Maybe she'll respond and get back to us later on, but those photos will probably be or just in my private collection. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what she says about it. She's very, very particular about it. But anyways, that was pretty much the only concept that I shot as far as anything conceptual. But so I did that. So conceptual, fashion, swimwear. I did all three of those things. I wanted to network, which I believe I did pretty well. Got to meet old friends, old faces, new faces. I thought which is pretty great. So going to a big event like this, I thought it was pretty cool to actually know people, especially knowing Jon Jon. I knew him even before the event. Darren, a few other people. Genki, what's his name? Landon or Lance. I get those two mixed up sometimes. Damn it. But I apologize. I know I'm not doing this on purpose, but let me just look it up real quick. I want to be right on this. So, but yeah, I met a few people that I already knew before, which I thought was great. It's great having a face, a person you can talk to that you already know. But when you go to these events, Instagram is such a distraction. So try not to do that too much when you're on a live stream. So I'm looking for this guy. I mean, I don't want to get his name wrong, that's all. I feel like that's an injustice. And my app. It is Landon. It is Landon. So, man, Landon, Waltz calls himself. And, yeah, it was pretty dope, man. Pretty dope. And then I got to meet new people. I got to meet Brett Seeley and Michael Sasser. Like, when I saw Michael Sasser, I was like, I know that guy. And he does some pretty dope work. They all do. I mean, I can't think of anybody that did like a shitty job. But those two in particular, big names in Cali. Brett Seeley does fitness, a lot of fitness. I follow him because I love his lighting work. And that's what he predominantly does and teaches. And I've actually, there was one or two shoots I actually did with that he provided as far as a lighting for it. I'm not gonna show on here because it does involve nudity. But you're more welcome to check out, say, my Flickr or YouPick. I will list those below as well when I get a chance. But right now, I don't have those on here. I'm doing live. I could probably add them right now, actually, but I'll wait. So, if you're just coming on here, don't expect them to be on there. But if you are wanting to know where they are, you can go to my Instagram at mjhyatt.envisions. And I do have a Linktree link there, and all my links are right in there. You can check those out. My Twitter included. As far as goals, I think that's it. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn from the greats, people that are better than I am, and I believe I did that. You know, through Maui Kao, Brett Seeley, Michael Sasser. I didn't have as much time. Actually, I didn't have as much time to spend with Michael Sasser when he was there because he went off like miles every now and then. I was doing something else. And I don't regret that. I wish I had more time to spend just to see how he operated. And I know I've seen like many videos, but to be there, and he might have done that on purpose. And he mentioned this to me actually. So one nugget that he gave is like, he didn't have enough time to build that rapport. He felt like he didn't have enough time to build that rapport as far as doing some of the shoots that he was doing with some of the models. And I totally get that. So for me, like I said, I shot 11 models, right? I believe there were about 25 total models there, give or take. I have to look at the numbers again, but so there were a lot. And I already knew ahead of time. I was like, I'm not really going for quantity. I'm going for quality. So there was actually a few models I only got maybe 5-10 minutes with, or 15 minutes average, which is good. It's a good average if you're going you get good 100 shots in there. I think my average was actually probably about 80 to 100 shots per model. And the models I actually spent more time with, I got a little bit 300 some shots. Also, there were actually 2 featured models there. Yuki was one of them. Suki Yuki, if you know her. I've been wanting to shoot with her for a while. Finally got a chance. She's extremely busy. I know we've been talking off and on about it in the IG, and finally got a chance to talk with her. Or, well, I met her before. Personally, I met her before, but it's the first time I actually shot with her. And she's pretty good. She's fire. Well, she's fire and she's fire. Now, 2 different ways to mean that. So anyways, that was cool. Goals, I guess I'm done with that. So I learned how Maui Kao operates posing wise and off camera flash. Also, Brett Seeley was also teaching a little bit of posing early in the day. He showed up a little later, because we showed up at sun up. He showed up maybe about a couple hours later, which is cool. I get to meet him, his whole team, and so I got some little bit nuggets from him as well. And he's actually, there's one scene in his last video, um, where he actually runs in my frame. I'm actually doing a photo shoot. He's on the beach. He runs in my frame. And he said he's sorry. He apologized. He wasn't being an ass or anything. He was just like, I didn't mind. I was like, I thought it was part of his show, because I know he does like, funny stuff, like, in his show sometimes. Not the show, but his channel, his YouTube channel. And I just thought it was part of that, but I didn't take no offense. I was like, hey man, what's up? And a little awkward, but it's cool because I'm actually in his video, and like I think that was the only time you ever see me in his video is right then and there, and other times you won't see me. I'm a ninja, I'm a ghost, but the guy's cool. He's cool. He's down to earth. Michael Sasser as well. Maui Kao. They're all down to earth people. Maui Kao does a lot more swimwear on Maui, hence the name Maui Kao. And he works usually with a brand. It's KO Swimwear or KO Swim Hawaii. And I actually got to shoot with the owner of that brand. So she was pretty cool to meet, and the shoot was just a little bit. I think we only got like maybe 5 minutes to shoot. And I sent her photos and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. So just to meet her, and I like her, like the stuff all the time that she posts. And so it was like the first time I ever met her when I took out of the whole thing. But so she was cool. And yeah, I'm gonna repeat myself a few times. I just know it. I just know it. I think that's it for goals. But I also wanted to push myself. I wanted to do things I normally didn't do. And so that actually was a time I was like, man, I want to pull out my flash. And I brought everything. I brought my speed lights, stands, and I wanted to push myself to do more of what I normally didn't do. Hence, like, hey, I'm here all day. I have the opportunity, have the models I want to shoot. And yeah. Challenges. So let's see, what are the major challenges I had to... So one of the challenges, again, there were a lot of people. That's a challenge. Like I said, I'm a challenge. A lot of people, what do I do? That's what I'm thinking. That's kind of like processing in my head, like, who do I shoot? There's a lot of people. One way to alleviate that, like I said, is just, if you're introverted, mostly, halfly, whatever, one thing you could do to alleviate that is basically get to know certain people before the shoot, which I did. So I already knew like a few people that I wanted to shoot with, and we kind of just like, well, for me, I just sent the message out. I was like, hey, I'd like to shoot with you during the event if you have time, if you're available. And I sent a bunch out. I think half of them responded, which is pretty cool. Some were already following my work, and I was following their work anyways, so that was cool. So we already kind of knew like what we shot, so it helped out a lot. I just didn't know them as a person. We never met face to face. I don't think actually, none of the models I knew personally, except for Sukiyuki, which I met before one time, which is actually it was funny that how we met. It was at Kauai-Con. And actually, I almost didn't know it was her, because she's a lot shorter than she appears. But I was like, I know who you are. But so, she was the only model that I knew that I had met personally. They were like, and that was great. So there was a great variety of models, good diversity of models. So yeah, getting to know a few people, or even like a photographer if you don't know anybody, because I was like, I don't know who I'm gonna shoot. So what I started doing is just sending DMs to like just I sent a bunch of them out. Like I said, I got half response, which is great. You know, some people are busy. They didn't look at the message later. I was like, yeah, it's good. My goal was not to shoot with all the models anyways. I already knew that was just, it's a feat. But I'm like, I'm not really going for quantity. I'm not looking to shoot like everybody. I'm just looking to shoot where I can. And I didn't really have a goal in mind as far as a number. I just knew that I wanted to make the day worth being there. And even if it meant not shooting for a bit, just shooting a breeze with somebody, I think that was still pretty cool. And I did, I did. Yeah, a lot of it. And I'll go over that later. Other challenges. Sometimes the lighting was just, it was so. Actually, it was a really good spot. That beach at Kokololio Beach Park, North Oahu. It's a really nice beach, and in the morning there's like barely anybody there. Perfect, right? All of us go out on the beach, start shooting. It wasn't until like 2 hours, 3 hours later, people started to show up, fill it up a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, we had plenty of space. I mean, I had very little people in my frame, if anybody, and most of the time I was shooting out to the water anyways. So I thought that was pretty good. This light's kind of bright, so it's like I gotta blink like, LEDs in my eyeballs. Good thing it has a diffuser. But yeah, it's a dope light. I mean, you see how bright this thing actually goes? Like, oh my god, that's bright. Oh, the sun's come out. Okay, there we go. I got my small little LED lamp on the side there. Oh man. I got a little bit of a cold, so please bear with me. I'm actually over it. I just got this congestion, mucus. It's nasty. It's nasty. Anyway, so yeah, that was a challenge. But the only challenge for lighting, it was like kind of sunny here, shady here. So I just had to, kind of move around and kind of play with it. And most of the shots came out great. Most between all 11 came out great. As one of my last 2 shoots where I was shooting in near darkness. One with Leilani and the other with Faith for short, at the end on the beach. And I was shooting with Jon Jon and Maui Kao with the off-camera flash, which came out pretty dope, by the way. Those shots are pretty cool. Although I wasn't totally happy with all of them because it was kind of like hit the water and everything, and when you have water and camera gear, I just get really concerned. And I this is the reason why I think Brett ran to my frame, is because I had the model on the edge of the water. And in hindsight, I was thinking about, I was like, hey, he doesn't like going too far in the water because he has camera gear and stuff. So that's understandable. And so I was like, I got my speed light over here, and I have my bag actually weighing it down. So earlier when I was shooting Suki, I don't know if she's gonna watch this or not, but just if something happens that's not really important to the model, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Don't say nothing. Just keep going. Now, if it is important to the model and yourself, say something, because that might be a safety problem. It's like, hey, or their nipple might be showing and they don't want that. Say something. Don't keep it quiet. But just for the sake of the argument, this time was nothing like that. It was just like the wind blew my light, and I had an umbrella on it, blew it over. The umbrella is damaged. I was like, I didn't say nothing. I just closed it up. I was like, I'm gonna put this away. I told her, I was like, I'm gonna just put this away. It's not working. And for some reason, I forgot my bag to weigh it down. I'm like, I'm at a loss. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any anchor. Another challenge in this stuff. sandbags would probably be a great idea if I had. Should probably shut that off. I'm seeing if I got like responses and stuff, so that's why I'm kind of looking back and forth here. Just making sure, that's all. Okay, never mind. So nothing to do with the video. I'm just making sure I don't have any like questions or anything coming up. So, and no, I am not gonna put this on IGTV. But it doesn't mean I will never use IGTV. I'm trying to keep. It's too much work when I have to manage. And if you manage like two or three different video platforms, you know how hard it is. Twitch is easy. I just stream, play the video game. I don't have to do any editing or nothing. Just it happens automatically. This is why I'm live right now. And if you're listening on the podcast, I am live on YouTube right now. So it probably doesn't matter to you, but I'm live. Okay. So yeah, so that was a challenge, and I damaged my umbrella. It's not totally broken, but it was a casualty. The speed light was fine. Sand obviously is one of the things that I don't hate it. It's just it gets everywhere. Everywhere, like glitter, just everywhere. Just a pet peeve. It's not a big deal. It's just like the beach is great to shoot on, but the sand's gotta go. Sand's good. It's a nice touch. If you don't have it, I don't know. What would you do? What would we do if you didn't have sand at the beach? We just had rocks. That would be shitty, right? I cussed a little bit. It's I don't normally do this on shoots. This is kind of like my vlog, so it's more personal. Like I said, I don't normally do photography related things on this channel, but that's something I'd like to do. And Brett Sidley actually said, hey, you're gonna start a channel. I got the channel, I just haven't really utilized it for photography, that's all. Which is ironic because it's a visual format. You know, you think, hey, I take pictures that people need to see, but I use a podcast channel for that, right? Audio, you can hear it. You have to visualize with your ears instead of your eyes. The irony, right? The irony. Oh yeah. So for group shoots such as this large, it's good to stay hydrated. Now, that wasn't really a challenge for me, but I could see how it would be a challenge. As in, I'm out of water. Like, thankfully, the location we were at wasn't like a desert. You could actually literally be in shadow all day if you really wanted to. It was partially cloudy, partially sunny day. There's a lot of tree cover. But you can also be in the sun, like various places you could go, and you always have some sun or shadow. So if that's a challenge, then stick to the shadow if you think you're gonna get hot. There were times where I thought I was gonna need a jacket, but for the most part, it was fairly warm. It was fairly cool. It was windy, so it was actually perfect. It was very perfect temperature-wise, which is great because before that, a couple of weeks or 1 week before that, it was raining. It was pouring every day, like It was like cats and dogs. Buddy, I keep it entertaining. Hopefully I keep it entertaining in here. Also, you can get hungry. One thing I thought they did really well, Maui Kao and Jon Jon, is organizing snacks and lunch, and then like a partial dinner like later on. But start out, I had actually breakfast, and yeah, no. What did I eat? No, I ate cereal. Granola cereal. Granola cereal is usually good for me for like 2 hours, and then I just top out. But hunger, is going to be a concern if you're doing a group shoot all day from sun up to sundown. I thought it was a good balance of like snacks. Snacks saved my life. Those granola bars, Jon Jon, Maui Kao, dope. Gotta bring them next time. I had a whole box full, and that was like my fuel. So when there wasn't any like real food, that was the fuel. That was the fuel that got me through it. That and water. Food and water doing a shoot that's gonna last all day with a lot of people, and mind you, I'm shooting too. And so one of the things I learned a long time ago is you gotta take a break. Like you can't just keep going, like keep going and going and going until you're just out of energy. For me, what works and what worked actually throughout this whole day was taking breaks. You know, I would shoot a model, you know, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes at most. Take a break, go back to the food table, meet somebody, talk a little bit, and kind of keep going like that, rinse and repeat. But you also kind of rejuvenate, but you also get to network, so you're not just shooting the whole time. And then kind of a balance of everything, right? Balance everything, you know, have a conversation, you know, hydrate, get some energy, get some nourishment, keep it going, right? And that worked for me. And it has normally worked for me, so not a problem, not an issue. Challenges, I think I'm done with challenges, actually. It was pretty far away. I mean, not really a problem for me, because I woke up early. I got some sleep. So for these events, I highly recommend you get sleep if you can. If you're not able to, because you gotta fly in that morning, that sucks. But you make the best out of it. You always make the best out of a situation that could otherwise just be pretty shitty, right? That's what I believe. That's my philosophy. Highlights. So thinking back on it, I'm just thinking like what are the, well, two in particular, Michael Sasser being there as well as Brett Seeley, and meeting Maui Kao are like one of my highlights as far as like meeting people that have been doing the business for a bit. I know Michael Sasser's been doing stuff for 20 years or so, and I'm not exactly sure what Brett Seeley's history is, but I know he's been doing it. As far as his YouTube channel, I believe his YouTube channel is fairly new. It's like a year plus. But as far as photography, I know he's been doing it for a while. I know he has, because he has that experience using multiple lights and systems like that. You have to have that kind of like experience behind you. It's not like you can just walk in and just do it. It's like, oh, I got this, right? I got this light right here, this light right here. And I've seen him do like 5+ light setups, like with one model, and be like, damn, you know, that's skill, bro. I've never used more than 3 or 4 lights actually in one setting. So, and it can become challenging, but as well as it's a learning experience. So you learn how to do certain sounds, like a recipe, like anything else. Like when you cook, you have this ingredient over here, and you make this meal, this concoction, whatever you're doing, as one person. I was like, one teacher for workshop mentioned that, you know, the recipe is great, but what's even better if you can make that recipe your own. And so it's not just remembering the setup, remembering like, oh, I need light A and light B and light C, but it's how to utilize those lights. And when you learn how to utilize those lights to be able to do what you want them to do, that's the real lesson. It's not just, oh, A, B, C, I got them, and I got this, the 45, I got the 45 behind, and I got the hair light or whatever. It's not just about that. I mean, that's a good start. That's a good start if you're not sure. And I'm not an expert at this. I'm by no means I'm an expert. No way. But that's a place I would like to be. So of course, one of the highlights is meeting two of the greats. Maui Kao experience as well. Very good teacher in posing, off-camera flash. Hillside Jimbo was also teaching natural light, but like midday natural light. Like the worst time you can do photography for most people, midday, because you get those deep shadows, like those deep and dark shadows, and yeah, it gets wild. But I didn't get to attend that. I actually totally forgot about it. But since I do natural light a lot anyways, it wasn't a total big deal. But Jimbo is a pretty cool guy. If you ever get to meet him or work with him as well. Pretty cool guy. Hillside Jimbo on IG. Other highlights include just networking. The whole event itself was a highlight. It was something I was looking forward to doing for like 2 months. I was like, man, I'm looking forward to this. I got a day off. I got time. And I got to clear my memory cards. I get to meet people. The whole day was a highlight. I mean, what wasn't a highlight about the whole event? And getting to talk with Maui Kao. So actually, it's on my list kind of further down. But since I already talked about the special guest, I'm going to skip that anyways. But it's already talked about it. I don't want to repeat myself a million times. But so in the morning when I was driving to the event, Maui Kao was in town and he was staying at a hotel in town and he needed a ride. And originally I was gonna I had somebody else I was gonna pick up, but they wanted to ride with somebody else. So I was like, yeah, whatever, it's cool. So Maui's like, I need a ride. I'm in town. I'm staying at this hotel. And I'm like, hey, I got plenty of space. And I'm like, it's Maui Kao. I get to meet this guy. I've seen him in videos, seen him on Instagram. Dude's an extremely friendly guy, very humble. And so there's a whole hour we're gonna be spending in this car. We first grabbed coffee at McDonald's. Well, he grabs coffee. I have a coffee actually. Speaking of coffee, this is not coffee. That's beer. That's beer. I want to finish my beer because I want to get a shake later. No, not a shake, but actual milk tea. I want a milk tea. So after this podcast, I want a milk tea. Excuse me. So anyway, we're sitting in the car. I'm driving him to the event, driving us both to the event actually. And I got about an hour to spend with this guy. Pick this guy's brain, and we get to know each other a bit. So that's another highlight. Us getting to know, like, me and him getting to know each other as creatives. Like, I knew next to nothing about this guy. But, finally having that time to sit down, because it was just kind of like a chance. It was like, this wasn't supposed to happen this way. Originally, it was supposed to be different. But in this universe, we were sitting down, obviously because we're driving. I'm driving to the event, and, excuse me, he's telling me, he's giving like different tips. He's kind of telling me about himself, and I'm telling him about myself, just kind of like our experience level. And he's just giving me like these tips of like, kind of like little nuggets of like knowledge to like go to the next level, and just things I know that myself I need to improve on. And he's just like me. He's like, he's a little bit more experienced, I believe, than me, than especially posing. He's a freaking, and just kind of like getting models. He's even made up like different names. Like this there's a pose, the model goes like this. Oh, there. Oops, sorry. Like, you're gonna see that. So they're like something like this. He calls it the cracking nuts. You're gonna crack nuts, and the model poses a certain way. That's just like, dude, that's awesome. Like, names, like, it's a good memory jogger. Like, I wanted to crack nuts, or pop the booty or whatever. I think he has one called pop the booty, and the model pops the booty out. And just little things like that. This guy is like, he's on. And I can just take that, the sky's the limit. I mean, knowledge is always power. I mean, it's just. Just making sure the stream is still going. It usually tells me on here it stopped, but it buffered for a bit. I was like, I don't want anybody to miss anything because it was buffering. Because sometimes it just cuts out, and that sucks. So, anyway, Maui Kao, man, dude's cool as fuck. It is what it is. Sorry, I'm just being honest. But so we're sitting here, he's giving me those tidbits of knowledge. I'm listening because I'm driving, but the most that I say is I tell him kind of like my experience and what I like to get out of the whole thing. And my stream just died. This sucks.